Hi, this is BRR. So, in this video session, we'll discuss about switch statement in C#.NET. So, what is the switch statement and what is the syntax of using the switch statement and how we are going to use the switch statement in C# programming. So, a switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of values. So, each value is called as a case, and the variable being switched on this, checked for each switch case. So if you can define it generally, I can say a switch statement is a type of selection control mechanism used to allow the value of a variable or expression to change the control flow of a program execution via multiple branch. Like if you want to validate any expression or variable condition, generally we used to use if statement. So if you want to apply multiple validations or multiple times you want to validate it, you have to write it multiple times. If statement like if, else if, else if, else if, that way you have to write it. So if any of the expression you want to validate using an if statement, it has to execute all the if statements. It will not go to the specific if statement. Let us say like I want to verify uh, I will show you through example. I know I have declared a variable int equal to 10. So I want to validate this particular a is 5 or 10 or 20 or something, a kind of thing. I want to verify it, and then I want to say that the value is so and so. So before if switch statement, what I'm going to use is if. So if a equal to 10, I'm going to say, console dot write line of a has 10 value. Else if a equal to 20, console dot write line of a has 20 value. So like that, I have to use multiple if statements to validate my particular programming logic, like this way. So he has a 5 value, and finally I will keep else part here. Uh, I can say like a has 0 value something. So what it is happening is, like if you want to validate a particular expression or a particular variable value, in this case I'm being declared a equal to 10. So that is what the variable a. So I want to test my variable value for the equality, 10 or 20 or 5 kind of thing. So then I have to use if a equal 10, else if a equal 20, else if a equal 5. So like that way I have to put it. If I have multiple validations or multiple variable values, I need to verify it. I need to write those many if statements. So what is the disadvantage of using this if statement? In the general programming languages to validate expression or value variable. So let us say like a equal to, let us say this is 5 actually I have assigned. So I know a equal to 5. So I'm actually thinking that my the flow would execute this particular thing so that I can display a has 5 value. That way my flow execution is very faster. But if you use if statement, it starts here. Like first it will check a equal 10. So here 5 equal to 10 not satisfied. Again a equal to 20. So 5 equal to 20 also not satisfied. Then equal 5, 5 equal to 5 satisfied. Then it is executing here. So till here, this is going to execute these many statements. That means this is validating and this is validating, and then this is validating and executing this action and coming out from the if statement. So nowhere it is directly coming to your expression, right? So it has to validate everything before this particular the condition is matching. So that way it is taking unnecessary time and it is executing multiple if statements, and execution of if statement, again it takes time. It is going to verify the variable value and apply some validation on that based on operator. So those many things are involving and validating of your expression. That way it is unnecessarily taking of time to validate the particular expression using an if statement. To resolve this, the C sharp or the programming language come up with another approach called switch statement. This is going to allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of values. So each value in this case, in switch statement can be called as a case, and the variable being switched on, each check for each switch case. So what is the syntax of this particular switch statement? We are going to use it in the C sharp. Okay. The syntax of the switch statement here for C sharp is switch off some expression. You have to specify it here, and you have to start the curly braces and close it. Here you have to write it cases. Let us say like value 1. This is 1, and you have to put code here. This is code block, and please note that every case should end with the break statement. Okay, this we have to ensure that like every case in the switch statement should end with break statement. So generally break statement in C sharp has some purpose, like I can say like we have two usages using break statement in C sharp. Like when the break statement is encountered inside a loop, the loop is immediately terminated and program control resumes at the next statement following the loop. So that is the first advantage. If I keep here break, it executes here, it is coming out from this loop, and also it encounters inside loop. The loop statement is immediately terminated and program control resumes at the next statement. Let us say like if I have here another statement, it directly comes to the statement and it can execute it. So another advantage is it can be used to terminate a case in the switch statement. So that is what even if you use this break statement in for loop or while loop kind of thing, it is coming out from the loop and it resumes the next statement program execution the loops, and in this switch statement it comes out from the switch statement immediately. That way I can reduce the evaluation of multiple statements after satisfaction. I mean the validation happened for the required expression. So block and again break. So like that you can define switch statement. So and also we have a default statement here, so that way you define it, and finally you have a default statement like else how we have in a if statement here, code block and break. Okay, so this is the syntax of the switch statement: switch expression and case value 1, case value 2, and so on. A default code break. Okay, now if you want to like write the below the program using a switch statement, how we are going to write. So if you go to the program here and look at the expression, like I have declared a equal to 5 here, switch off a variable, close, and case 10 console dot right line of a has 10 value, and immediately you use break statement. So again case 20 console dot right line of a has 20 value. So that way I use break, and next case is 5 where my exact condition is matching here. A has 5 value. Now break, and finally I will write default. This is the default statement we say console dot write line of a has 0 value. Okay. So after closing of this statement, I write console dot write line of switch statement end. So we'll see how it is going to execute. So then here I'm keeping read key so that it will wait for key press. I'm building this and running it. So if you run this, and you can see through debugger also, if you run this program and you'll be knowing this was comes here and it has a value, directly goes to this statement, but not goes to here. So that way it is directly going to the specific case and executing your action. And even anyway you have mentioned break, it is coming out from the switch statement and it executes next line. Okay. If you look at the statement, A has 5 value, a switch statement ended, and it is waiting for the key press because I used read key. And if you press here, it ends your program. Okay, so this is how the switch statement is working out in C# programming to avoid multiple, the if statements. So to avoid the multiple lines of code execution when you are going to validate any expression or variable value. So also we have a go to statement in switch statement. So like how we are going to use go to statement in the switch. The switch case can use go to jump over a different case. Like if you want to jump into some other switch case, then you use no go to statement. So how we are going to use go to statement in this switch statement, we'll see next. Okay, like similar in the same example, I'm just changing this as like I will use some another statement, like removing this. So I'm just declaring some variable called string, some str value, just keeping switch string. Okay, I use switch of str value. So here I'm specifying case. This is something decision making, and I'm just printing this as console dot write ln of is a decision making statement. Is a decision making statement. Break, or if I say this is if else I can say console dot write ln of is a if else statement. Break. So also, like if you use case, it is case, or let us say ternary. I can say this is ternary operator. Console dot write line of is a ternary operator, and I've come out from this statement, and finally I say the case is switch. So here write line of is a switch statement and break default console dot write line of is a loop statement break. So here in this switch statement case, instead of using a break statement, what I will do is I will use a go to statement. Go to, let us say like case decision making. So I want to go to the decision making statement. So once my switch is done here, this case, and I just want to say program that to go to this particular statement to execute further lines. So now if you look at the code here, console.read key, this is common, build it, and if you run this program, and you will see how go to statement is working in switch statement. So my string is actually switch. So I'm not sure why it is working. We'll see. So when I run this, it is coming out here. So it is going to switch statement and it is executing this line. And again, when I say go to case, it is going to the go to statement. So that way it is executing two cases of switch here. One is a switch statement of this, and this is the decision making statement of this. And then I press this, it is automatically closing off your execution flow. So this is about using of go to statement in switch case. And similar way we can use nested switch also. Like nested switch statements are allowed in C# by writing inner switch statement inside outer switch case. Like within this switch case, you can write it here if you want another switch statement. Okay, like if you want to write any other switch statement, once the execution of this, you can write here str value. So this statement. So I can say this is something a, and I'm declaring int a equal to some 10, and that statement you can write it here. So you can write your rest of the syntax like cases here inside of this switch statement. So that way you can use nested switches also using this switch statement to execute multiple switch cases based on your requirement. Okay, this is about how we are going to use a switch statement. Okay, now so there are some points you need to ensure or note if you are using a switch statement. The switch statement tests the variable against a set of constants. That's the first point. And also the switch statement contains multiple case labels. It may be any value or different values. The switch case includes break keyword to stop the execution of the switch case, as I explained you in the program, so that it is coming out from the switch statement and executing next statement of switch. And the default case executes when no case satisfies the expression. So let us say like if any case is not satisfying which was specifying in the switch statement, it is coming to the default case and executing default case statement. A nested switch statement is allowed. That is also I told you like how we are going to use nested switch statement within the switch. Okay, so this is all about switch statement, how we are going to use in C# program, and hope you understand like the syntax of switch statement and the using of switch statement and using of go to statement and nested switch statements and break keyword in the switch statements. So thank you, thanks for listening to this video, and please subscribe more videos on this YouTube channel. Thank you.